Hi, we're back today with Chapter 4 from My Father's Dragon, written by Ruth, Stiles, Gannett. If you haven't heard the other chapters, go back and catch up. It's a story about a dragon, and we have not met the dragon yet, but it's a story about the dragon and a boy named Elmer Elevator. This is Elmer, and he's also my father. And today, he's got in his knapsack. Remember he put all that stuff in there? So let's start reading because we're going to meet some of the other characters in the book. This is called Chapter 4, My Father Finds the River. The jungle began just beyond a narrow strip of beach. Thick, dark, damp, scary jungle. My father hardly knew where to go, so he crawled under a wahoo bush to think and ate 8 tangerines. The first thing to do, he decided, was to find the river because the dragon was tied somewhere along the bank. Then he thought, if the river flows into the ocean, I ought to be able to find it quite easily if I just walk along the beach far enough. So my father walked until the sun rose, and he was quite far from the ocean rocks. It was dangerous to stay near them because they might be guarded in the daytime. He found a clump of tall grass and sat down. He took off his rubber boots and ate 3 more tangerines. He could have eaten 12, but he hadn't seen any tangerines on the island, and he could not risk running out of something to eat. And here he is, sitting down and resting, because he had walked all night. My father slept all day and only woke up late in the afternoon when he heard a funny little voice saying, "Queer, queer, what a dear little duck. I mean, dear, what a queer little rock." My father saw a tiny paw rubbing itself on his knapsack, so he lay very still. And here's who we're meeting. And the mouse, for it was a mouse, hurried away, muttering to itself, "I must smell somebody. I must tell somebody." My father waited for a few minutes and then started down the beach because it was almost dark now, and he was afraid the mouse really would tell somebody. He walked all night, and 2 scary things happened. First, he was just about to sneeze, so he did, and somebody close by said, "Is that you, monkey?" And my father said, "Yes," because he did. And he had his knapsack on his back. "What do you have on your back, monkey?" asked the voice. My father didn't know what to say, because what would a monkey have on his back? I don't know, what would a monkey have on his back? Oh, and here's a picture of the mouse. I like my mouse here. Oops, got to get him in the picture. And how would it sound telling someone about it if it did have something? Just then another voice said, "I bet you're taking your sick grandma to the doctor's." My father said, "Yes," and hurried on. Quite by accident, he found out later that he had been talking to a pair of tortoises. Here's our tortoise. So we've got the monkey and the tortoise. I don't know if we can keep seeing them, so I'll put them away. The second thing that happened was that he nearly walked right between two wild boars. Oh, look at the teeth on them. Oh, so scary. The boars were talking in a low, solemn whisper. When he first saw the dark shapes, he thought they were boulders. Just in time, he heard one of them say, "There are 3 signs of a recent invasion. First, fresh tangerine peels were found under the wahoo bush near the ocean rocks. Second, a mouse reported an extraordinary rock some distance from the ocean rocks, which upon further investigation simply wasn't there. However, more fresh tangerine peels were found in the same spot, which is the 3rd sign of an invasion. Since tangerines do not grow on our island, somebody must have brought them across the ocean rocks from the other island, which may or may not have something to do with the appearance and or disappearance of the extraordinary rock reported by the mouse." After a long silence, the other boar said, "You know, I think we're taking this all too seriously. Those peels probably floated over here all by themselves, and you know how unreliable mice are. Besides, if there had been an invasion, I would have seen it." "Perhaps you're right," said the first boar. "Shall we retire?" Another word for retire is, anybody know? Sleep. Whereupon they both trundled back into the jungle. Up, and here are the 2 tortoises talking. "Well, that taught my father a lesson, and after that he saved all of his tangerine peels." Good idea, because if you're leaving them, that's littering. "He walked all night, and toward morning came to the river, and that's when his troubles really began." And that's the end of chapter 4. We met the boar, 2 of them. We met 2 tortoises. We met a monkey who pretended he was taking his grandma someplace. And we met the mouse, who kind of gets his words mixed up. But then he figures it out and he unmixes his words. He just takes a breath and takes his time. Okay, so we're going to say good night to the book and good night to my father, Elmer Elevator. And I don't know if we're going to meet the dragon in chapter 5, but we'll find out tomorrow. Good night.